parents, Miss Sacramani here. I hope you guys have had a great week. Again, with our weekly video to let you know what we've been doing in the classroom. This week we focused on, we read lots of books this week, from Halloween to counting books to All About Me books. So we looked at this one, it was called By the Light of the Moon. And actually this was kind of like an older book, so we talked a little bit about the images with the kids, and it was a pattern book. So every page it added a new element to the pattern, so the kids got to read along with me. We looked at the book When I Grow Up, so talking about all the things that you can do when you grow up and you get to be an adult. We looked at the book called Mouse Count. So again, another counting book, because you know that's a big focus right now in our year and in our curriculum. So we looked at counting up to 10 and then back down from 10. And then we looked at God Gave Us Family. So all about different families and feeling fortunate to have the family that we've been given, because God gave us that family and we need to be proud of it and we need to love our families. And we also talked about at school we're a family as well. Our classroom, this is our family. It's a different type of family, but we love each other and we look out for each other. So we talked about that. Now the reasoning behind When I Grow Up and God Gave Us Family is we are going to begin an inquiry into ourselves in the next 2 weeks to come. Like actually, we'll start it right after Halloween during kind of Remembrance Day, or just after Remembrance Day maybe. But anyways, we're going to look at ourselves, who we are, what makes us special, what makes us unique, who is in our community, our families, our interests. So that's going to be an inquiry into ourselves, and we're going to put books together, an All About Me book. So that's the reasoning for choosing God Gave Us Family and When I Grow Up. Then we looked at the Mouse Count and 10 Busy Brooms again, because this week, like I said last week in the video, the kids actually created their very own Halloween countdown books with their grade 9 buddies. So I'll show you if you want to come to the smart board. This was an example of one of the books that was created. This it was called the Halloween Countdown book. And what the kids had to do is they had to tell me, they had to describe Halloween night. So we talked a lot about adding detail into our stories, just like when we look at a self-portrait. A self-portrait without eyes or eyelashes or hair or details on the body is kind of boring. It doesn't look as good. So we looked at comparing self-portraits with detail to stories with detail. So the students know that a good story gives us lots of information and it explains things in detail. So the kids had to describe Halloween night. So it was Halloween night, the wind was blowing and lots of kids were out trick-or-treating. 5 quiet ghosts joined them. Trick or treat, they whispered. But anyways, the kids, so they created their own little book. So 5, and then it says, oh, does this one have the pictures in? Oh, this one hasn't. Maybe it's not loading on my smart board. Let me just see. Just choose a different book here quickly. Okay, so on a spooky Halloween night, 5 screeching bats were flying in the sky. 4 hairy spiders were crawling up the walls. 3 mean ghosts were scaring people. So the kids created their own books and they went from numbers 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then some kids went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But anyways, it had to be a counting book with Halloween related things in it. So they did such a great job and they got to meet their buddies, their grade 9 buddies for the first time. And it was really great to see them forming new relationships with older students. It's really important that they understand, because it's a K-9 school, that they do have connections with the older kids and that they can go to them if they need anything or just to say hi to them in the hallways. So I was really excited to start buddies, and honestly the kids did fantastic. They were so happy to go there, and they've been asking me all week, are we going back to buddies? When do we get to see them again? So I'm really pleased with how things went. Their books, when they're completed, we have to finish them today in the afternoon and Monday in the morning. We'll try to print them so it's something that they can take home as a keepsake and maybe read it to you, mom and dad, or to younger siblings. So that's why we've been focusing so greatly on counting books. Then we have our focus bins for the week. We had our 4 focus bins. This one was Monster Race. So the kids were working actually in teams. So it would be me and another child, and our job was we each got a dice. So I would roll, and then I got 1, so I'd put 1 cube in. And then my partner would roll, and he got 6, so he'd have to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And what we had to do is we had to keep rolling the dice until our cup was filled. So myself and my partner was working in a team against 3 other teams. So it was a team building activity, it was working together, it was counting, it was being patient. So the kids did a great job with that. And again, that one-to-one correspondence, not only counting the dots on the dice, but putting the numbers in putting the cubes into the cup. So that was our Halloween race. Then we did another words around the room. Again, looking at letters that are tall, letters that are small, and letters that fall. And the kids are getting very, very good at differentiating between those 3 types of lowercase letters. So I'm very proud of them. And it's something that's great to ask them at home when they're reading. If you see a Y in the book, you can ask them, well, what kind of letter is a Y? And it's a letter that falls. So then we also have, in case you don't know what words around the room are, what they have to do is they have to, we hide pictures around the room and they have to find that picture. So for example, the witch picture is here on the wall, and then they have to come over with their clipboards and then they have to copy the letters. So that's words around the room. Then we looked at, with Miss Sacomani, we started to do some writing. So we looked at Halloween and what we were going to be for Halloween. So this one's already in the journal, but the kids had to write, for Halloween, I will be. And then that was copied off the board. We did it letter for letter, they'd copy. And then some students sounded out whatever they were going to be for Halloween. Some needed my help, but they did a great job writing and practicing looking up and copying from the board. We've also, parents, discussed leaving finger spaces between our words. This is a very hard concept for children to understand because it's hard to know when to leave a space, because some will get confused and leave spaces between letters in words, but we know finger spaces are left only between words. So it's something at home, a concept in books that you could constantly show your child. And then also we talked about putting a period at the end of our sentence, and that tells us to stop. So those were kind of the concepts of print that we were looking at. And then the kids drew their Halloween costumes for me and colored them. So they did a great job. The last focus bin we looked at this week was patterning. So the kids were given these pattern strips with multiple patterns, AB patterns, ABC, and then AABB patterns. So what they had to do was they'd have to put the image that would complete the pattern down. So candy corn, ghost, pumpkin. Candy corn, ghost, pumpkin. What would come next? They'd have to tell me candy corn. So it's a great activity because it was quick, and then it also gives us an assessment right away to know, does the child understand what a pattern is? Do they understand what comes next? And then we looked at, okay, so this week also our art projects, I'll tell you, we did ghosts. So the art medium that we were using this week was paint. So the kids each did their ghosts and then they got to paint them. Again, they had to draw them, Sharpie them, and paint the eyes, background, bow tie, lips. So they did such a beautiful job here. And again, you could see the individuality on each child.
Would the owner of the vehicle parked in the bus lane please move? Their buses can't get through. Thank you.
Okay, and then we had those poor buses. And then we had, we've been looking a lot at one-to-one correspondence with numbers, but now I want the kids to start learning to write the actual numeral. So we talk about it honestly every morning in our morning meeting, and I have little kind of rhymes to go to, like that we say to help them remember. So a 4 would be down, across, and down once more. That's how you make a 4. Or 3 would be around the tree, that's how you make a 3. So today what they had to do was they were given a sheet of paper. They had to roll their dice. So I got the number 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They'd have to count. And then in the number 6 box, they had to practice writing the numeral. And then they'd roll again, 3, and then they'd have to go over to the 3. And they had to do it till they completely filled up their sheet. And I was so impressed with how well they did and the persistence that they showed me. So I'm very proud of them. And then they actually today, and now they're getting used to putting things away themselves and organizing their own things. So when they were done their math, they had to put their pencil away, they had to stack their paper, and they had to put their dice in the dice bag. And that's not always easy because it's a lot of steps that they have to remember, but now we're starting to build that into their routine, which is wonderful. We also looked at letter F this week, and they did their letter F in their printing books. So again, uppercase F and lowercase f. So when we make the letter F, for uppercase F, we go down the slide and we have a line at the very top and a line in the middle. And for lowercase f, we make a candy cane, or we go a curved line down, and we cross it right in the middle again. And the kids know that that cross has to be on the dotted line in the middle. So we also looked at the sound that letter F makes, and that's F. So the new videos, actually a new video that I've been introducing to the kids that you can find on YouTube is if you just go to YouTube and you type in letter F, it's this one here, and it's just letter F. It's called Have Fun Teaching. It's a really great one to help kids with their songs. So they have it for every letter, and it's a great one for you guys to use. And then lastly, we also started library this week. So the kids will be going to library every Friday. They will take home a book from the library on Friday, and then they have 1 week to read it at home to you and bring it back the following Friday. If you bring it back prior to the Friday, that's no problem. I'll still collect them, but our library day will only be Friday, so they can only take out a book on Friday. Please don't bring them to the library yourselves. Bring them back to me because it's easier to track. The kids know that we need to care for our books and we need to love our books, so that's a new thing that we're starting. And then a final reminder, Halloween will be October 30th for the PMs and October 31st for the AMs in class. And I think that's it, parents. Is there anything else I have to tell you? Nope, that's it. Have a great weekend, you guys.